Greetings, I'm CB, your psychic coach. In this episode, we're going to discuss empaths. Generally, in popular culture, an empath is somebody who has been left to the realm of science fiction, or someone who doesn't exist. We see this by the character Deanna Troi in Star Trek The Next Generation. She was an empath whose duty was to advise the captain of strange emotional states that other people might have. Anyway, let's get a good definition of empaths so we can understand it a little better. An empath is a person with the ability to determine the mental or emotional state of another individual. In essence, yes, your energy is able to determine another person's energy. But let's look into this in another definition as well, and that is one of clairsentience, clear feeling, or clear sensing, which is the ability to feel past, present, or future emotional states of another. As you can see, these two definitions are very similar. As a result, you'll also understand that being an empath is also having a psychic ability, and that is the gift of clairsentience. As we saw in the previous episode, energy is how psychics connect, and that's basically what is happening with an empath. Their energy is detecting their energy of another. They are sensitive enough that they can determine what this energy that they are receiving means, basically. So they're able to feel someone's happiness, they're able to feel someone's sadness, feel someone's anger, someone's joy, someone's trepidation on something. It's really all the emotion out there has an energy signature, and the empath is able to pick up on it. One of the problems that empaths tend to run into, especially the ones that do not know that they are an empath, is they confuse someone else's energy or someone else's emotions with their own. What happens here is, for example, you could be at work and you might come across two people who are arguing. Well, unfortunately, the empath is going to pick up on that negative energy, and they're going to kind of store it away. And later on in the day, they're going to get into an argument with someone, especially someone who's very important to them, be it a spouse, a child, a relative, etc. And they are going to have an argument with them that means nothing, that came from nowhere, and they're not going to understand why they had this argument. And especially the other person in the argument is going to think that the empath is like from Mars, because their argument makes no sense. So it can be a little tricky for an empath. One of the things you can do is you can go online, you can find a whole bunch of websites out there that give you the 20 traits of an empath or the 50 traits of an empath, and you can see what they are. You can determine how well you match up to those. I'm going to go ahead and give you here about 6 or 7 of what I consider to be my favorite or the most important traits of being an empath. The first one is knowing, and this is kind of a strange one, and it's not always about emotion. This one can be knowing facts, knowing things that an empath really has no reason to know, but they just know. And it just comes out of nowhere for them, but their answers that they give you are correct. It's kind of one of those funny odd ones. Another one is public places. Empaths are very leery of being in public places, especially very crowded public places. Going to a football stadium or a basketball arena with 30,000, 40,000 people can be a bit overwhelming. So empaths tend to avoid those situations. You'll find empaths like to shop either very early in the morning, very late at night when there's very few people around. The energy's calmer, so it's a lot better of an atmosphere for them. Of course, others' emotions, which we discussed, they are able to pick up and read the energy of other people's emotional states, what they're feeling, and they're able to interpret them correctly. One of the neat ones, of course, is the more you work with it, the better you'll get at determining exactly what the emotions are and what they're feeling. Empaths also have an interesting one when it comes to lying. When someone is lying to them, an empath knows it. They can pick up on the energy and they just know that the other person is lying to them. It can actually be really helpful at times. but it's one of those odd ones out there. Empaths are also really good listeners, and this is kind of detrimental to us because sometimes friends will come over and they will dump their emotional baggage on us, and at the end of the visit from our friend, we actually feel worse than when our friend first appeared. And this is in a way kind of an energy transfer. The friend comes and kind of dumps all their ugly negative energy upon us, and at the same time they take our good positive energy. They leave feeling better, happier, and we're left feeling horrible because we got all that information. The other one is, of course, we also have people that come up and tell us their life story and we do not know why. And they tell us the most intimate details, and we look at these people like, why are you telling me this? And it's just one of those things of being an empath. Another one that empaths run into is fatigue. Going out into public, being in stressful situations, it brings a lot of fatigue in on the empath. The empath gets worn down easily, and they just get tired because just too much energy going on, too draining for them. As a result, empaths tend to like solitude. So being at home with the family, being with a small group of friends is very relaxing for the empath. Being home alone can be very enjoyable for an empath. It's not that they're shy, it's just that their energy feels better when they don't have all the craziness around them. The holidays can be a very rough one for an empath because there's a lot of family coming around, there's a lot of parties and activities, and they would rather have their solitude. One quick one to cover here real quick is I'm going to give you a technique for blocking energy. As an empath, one of the things that's important to be able to do is to protect our energy and keep other people's energy from interfering with our own. You've seen The Wizard of Oz. When Dorothy lands in Oz, Glinda the Good Witch appears. She appears as a pink ball at first before she takes human form. So I want you to think of yourself in kind of that bubble where you're totally encased front, back, side, top, bottom by a bubble. Okay, so in this bubble is radiating white light. Just see yourself in it. It doesn't mean it really physically exists, but in your mind this bubble exists there. And once you have established that there's a bubble around you in your mind, you then can say to yourself, I surround myself in the white light of God's universal love and divine protection. By doing this, you're calling in upon the highest energy in the universe to protect you and to keep you safe from all that other energy. Okay? We're going to have an episode a little later on where I'm going to get fully into psychic self-defense and many different ways to protect yourself with energy and to do tricks with it. But for right now, this will help empaths kind of get a good basis for defense if they end up out there and they're feeling overwhelmed by energy. Bubble up. I surround myself in the white light of God's universal love and divine protection. So that is the phrase to say. Thank you very much for watching this episode.